Hey guys, Rockingtheblade here once again. What's up, everybody? So, the PlayStation State of Play came out, I want to say yesterday, and a lot of things got announced. But I want to talk about mainly four things that I saw that really excited me the most. First one, obviously, Street Fighter 6. That's right, we're getting Street Fighter 6 next year, and the beautiful thing about it is it's both on PlayStation 5 and PS4, which is fantastic. So we won't miss out. It looks phenomenal. Like, don't get me wrong, Street Fighter 5. It's a beautiful game, probably the best in the series. But graphically, God, it looks so much better. Like, wow, like it looks like kind of like Tekken graphics in terms of the realism. It still feels like Street Fighter, but has that kind of like Tekken flair. So like has that realistic looking graphics to them. Don't get me wrong, none of the graphics weren't beautiful in Street Fighter in the past. This is one of those things that it felt like, has like that kind of like comic book kind of flair to it. You know what I mean? It felt like it was its own thing, but I feel like it's like going towards more the realism route, which I don't mind because it pulled it off with, again, beautiful fashion. It looks fantastic. Like it plays great too. I cannot wait to it comes out. I believe summer. I believe I could be wrong, so don't quote me on that. But sometime in 2023 for both around the summer, I think. But I know it's definitely be on both PS4 and PS5. That's excellent. Another good thing that I am, though I'm not into it, but for those who are interested in, though I am interested from the standpoint of how to just set up, and eventually I do want to do it one day, is there, because people who love Resident Evil 8, I love it too, but there are some people daring to say that's better than Resident Evil 4. I don't know about that, but Resident Evil 8, The Village, was still phenomenal, and it was definitely my top 5 favorite games that came out last year. That came out at the time of its release, without question. Resident Evil 8, The Village was phenomenal, to say the least. Just absolutely phenomenal from start to finish. Now, the reason for you to go back, unfortunately, is not with DLC, which people were kind of hoping for, which I'm hoping to do at some point. At least a little like DLC they did for 7 or something with 8. But they are doing something where you get a different experience. Because like Resident Evil 7, they had VR. And I guess, and you know where I'm going with this, you know where I'm going with this, Resident Evil 8 will have VR support. And I think that's awesome. So let's experience the game in a whole new light. And that's fun. Honestly, I think it's just phenomenal. I think they should have done that at launch, though, in my opinion, since they're doing, they didn't want to like invest in something that they feel that maybe was not going to do well. But come on, Capcom, you've been knocking it out the park with Resident Evil since the Resident Evil 2 remake. Or you can even argue the re-release of Resident Evil 1 remake you did a while back, showing that there's still a market for Resident Evil and people want it. Hell, we can go back as far as Resident Evil 7 Resident Evil aka Resident Evil 7, that people still want Resident Evil when you do the horror stuff, which people love, and it sold gangbusters. So it's like, put in VR. Maybe they were hesitant, maybe I'm not sure, but at least, or maybe they wanted to perfect it. They didn't want to do like a haphazard VR thing. They want to really make sure that when they do it, it's like a whole different experience than from the controller aspect. If that was the case, then okay, fine. But I'm glad it's not like it's. But I'm glad it's a thing that's coming out. Better late than never. But that's the thing that's happening, and I do have to get into VR sometime in the future, without a doubt, and definitely experience both 7 and I have more reason to get it because now, not only because of Half-Life that came out for, which I heard was amazing, but not only for 7 but for 8. So now I have at least 3 good games that I can play on VR, and that's a cool thing that they're doing, and I'm just really looking forward to that. Though it's funny enough, the main girl that everyone was like, oh my god, over. It's like great, now they're never gonna leave VR because they just want to like be like just on her 24/7. And they're not wrong, but it's just, yeah, there's that. Also, I saw footage for Final Fantasy XVI, which, before I get into the game itself, Square, I appreciate you doing the open, the fast-paced combat like we've seen in Kingdom Hearts for the Final Fantasy games. Which, don't get me wrong, in recent years I've gotten more into turn-based, but I'm more of like I'm more of like the Kingdom Hearts gameplay. Funny enough, I'm wearing a Kingdom Hearts slash crossover shirt that Shark Roby used to have called, referencing Army of Darkness, but it's saying Army of Heartless. Funny enough. Just want to throw that out there in case you're wondering what is that. Funny enough, as I'm talking about it, I like the gameplay of Kingdom Hearts, the open pace, fast, solid combat of that and Devil May Cry, and it's cool to see that Final Fantasy 16 is doing that. But I would liken maybe the next one they go back to go back and forth, because I would hate for unless they're trying to do spin-offs to where they do turn-based stuff, because I hate for fans of turn-based to kind of feel left out. Because remember, Final Fantasy started as a turn-based game, and I hate for fans of turn-based to be left out. So maybe 17 be a turn-based, maybe 17 be a turn-based, and 18 be fast-paced combat, or maybe for 2 games be turn-based, and the next 19 and 20 can be fast-paced combat, or every year, or like I said previously, 17 be turn-based, 18 will be the fast-paced combat. Because I don't want to alienate people. You know what I'm saying? Or, if it's possible, which I know it'd be hard, maybe find a way to do both. I know that would be hard. I know that would be really hard to pull off. I wouldn't know how to go about something like that. I'm not a game developer. I wouldn't know. But if that's something that's possible, maybe put that as an option for people that want that. You know what I'm saying? Because I hate for it's getting fans of me more into it, but I hate for it to alienate others. By the way, with Street Fighter 6, God, boy, does that game look great. Square has always made beautiful looking games, but thanks to the power of the PS5 and Xbox Series X, Jesus, does these games look amazing. It's wowie zowie, man. Just, whoa. You can definitely tell that these games are just looking better and better each generation, and combat looks great, story looks interesting, of course graphics looks fantastic. I'm definitely looking forward to what is in store for Final Fantasy 16. I honestly cannot wait. I really enjoyed 15, which funny enough was originally supposed to be a spin-off, but Square liked it so much they made it a mainline title game. That's how well it was, and I enjoyed the hell out of 15. Definitely looking forward to 16, and can't wait to see what comes with that game in the future. And last but not least, the big announcement was Resident Evil 4 remake, and I have mixed feelings about it. Don't get me wrong, I don't think the game's gonna be bad. In fact, I think it's gonna be amazing. I believe they're gonna knock it out the park. Especially that now I'm glad I'm recording it a little bit late, because I just found out that most of the original team that worked on the Resident Evil 2 remake is working on Resident Evil 4 remake. For those of you who didn't like 3, which I understand 3 wasn't as good as 2, I still defend that it's a great game, but it wasn't as good as Resident Evil 2 remake. That I can agree with. But to say that it's bad or disappointing or bad, no. It was fantastic. Was it as good as Resident Evil 2 remake? No. Could it have been better? Of course. But was it bad or disappointing? Definitely not. I beat that game 3 times. I mean, heck, I might just talking about it. But I might want to do another run, because it was so fun playing Resident Evil 3 remake. Because there was no it was graphically looks amazing. The gameplay is great. No bugs or issues. It's a smooth experience from start to finish. I really enjoyed the Resident Evil 3 remake. Wasn't as good as 2, but I still enjoyed it. So, for those of you who are more a fan of Resident Evil 2 remake, that the most I think 90% of the team is returning for Resident Evil 4 remake. But if you're wondering, RTB, okay, that's the case with what you're saying, where's the mixed feelings come in? I kind of wish they did were working on Code Veronica, because don't get me wrong, Resident Evil 4 is a classic. I know they're gonna knock it out the park, but it's just one of those things it had the Skyrim treatment. If you're wondering, RTB, what you mean by that, what I mean is it got released multiple times. It was on PS2. I think it was like on GameCube first, then PS2, then I got PS3, then I got PS4, and I believe I'm not mistaken, it's also on PS5. Of course, on PC as well. It got released multiple times, like Skyrim. But it's just like, and I wanted Code Veronica so bad because that's really part 3, not really Resident Evil 3. Now, I mean, okay, what do you mean? Well, originally, Resident Evil, when Capcom was in Resident Evil games, they were under contract on PlayStation because I think it sold the best on there, and they said they had to had 3, titles of the word Resident Evil, like 1, 2, and 3 on their system according to the contract. Resident Evil 3 wasn't really a continuation; it was more of a spin-off because it's more like Resident Evil 2.5. Because it's Resident Evil 2, but told from a different perspective of what happened at Raccoon City. That's it. Didn't really. I mean, and it was some cool plot points and some cool story reveals, but it didn't really mean. It didn't feel like a true sequel like Code Veronica was. A lot of fans, like me, feel that Code Veronica was the true Resident Evil 3 sequel. Hopefully, which I know it's gonna be the case. Resident Evil 4 remake sells well. And that's the next one they work on. Here's the hoping, but we'll see. And I would honestly, after the Code Veronica, I know this will sound like what? I would love for them to remake 5 and 6, but make it more horror themed. Stuff like the whole action thing they're trying to go for. Like I would love for them to remake 5 and 6, but do emphasis more on the horror aspect. Maybe even like retcon it. The story or retcon things and like rework it to where it can be more horror themed, like how Resident Evil 2 and 3 was. I'd be down for something like that. I think none I'm saying out loud. Maybe you might be too, but then again, you might not. Well, and also, what's your thoughts on the state of play? What was your favorite game that was announced? Let me know in the comment section below. I definitely want to hear your guys' thoughts on the matter. And as always, thank you for watching. Always, please make sure to rate, comment, and subscribe. As always, Rockingtheblade signing out. Hope to see you guys again real soon. Peace out. Hope you guys have a great day. Goodbye.